We're live. Turn on the camera. Turn on the camera, please. There we are. Hello. Okay, so it's been a little bit. So where were we? Oh, camera's still not on? Oh, no, I'm looking at the old stream. Right. So I have my list of things to talk through. So yeah, while I've been gone, I haven't had a good chunk of time to work, but just been doing little bits here and there where I can. And we have got a situation where, and I'll just play this. Well, actually, first let's go through. We have got the undead in. However, as expected, there's a bunch of things that I noticed that I forgot, and a bunch of things which just fundamentally, like things that you notice when you start playing it. So yeah, did a whole bunch of that clicking and dragging, like getting the prefabs into the GM and things like that, getting that working, and we got it to run. And then yeah, we've got some design to think about for the undead. That brings me here actually. It's the resurrecting. So before we talk about design, I changed the color of the resurrected HP bars, so it's like cyan and purple. Purple for the enemies, cyan for the friendlies. I just think that looks good. It works well. It's just nice to see which units are resurrected and which ones aren't, so you can sort of really feel the power of your resurrections. So that's that discussed. And there was a problem. So like the undead were attacking themselves, and I think this was to do with the change. So I did have it working before, but there were some changes to do with making the characters they were like yeah, it's the changes that I did with the team system, because I made modifications to that to make it work a bit better, to make it a bit more optimized, a bit cleaner code. And yeah, that messed with it a bit. And they were sort of attacking themselves, and I fixed that, but then it still wasn't working. So I had to go through the whole process of, so here we have Team 0, for example. And this is a list of characters. And then the team list is a list of lists of characters. And Unity does not show you in the editor lists of lists, right? And it's quite difficult to kind of debug, to kind of see exactly what's in there in a clear way. And it wasn't working, and I didn't know why. The undead were attacking themselves and their allies, and I just really didn't understand why. And it turned out, so I did this whole refactoring of making a class for teams. So there it is. I've just popped it there. It's probably not the tidiest place to put it, but there it is. And it's just a class with a list of characters. And then that allowed me to see, so when I have a character, let's say vampire, when I have a character, we can see what team it's on, right? And that was easy, and we could see, okay, he's on the same team as the other characters on the team, the other undead. But then there's the target lists, which is other people's teams. So this is a list of lists, and I made it so that you could see. So now you can see, so this gets populated with a bunch of lists when I press play, and you can see who the enemies, who their targets are. And as soon as I did that, I noticed the silly little thing, which I should have been able to figure out myself, but I couldn't, which is that, so after like, I don't know, an hour or two of refactoring the code, I realized that the problem was that, when I was making the new list, so this is in character set targets, I didn't have this bit. So what they were ending up with was quite a large list of targets, and I don't know how that happened, but that's surely going to affect optimization as well. So this is good. I've got now. We just clear the list before we make a new one. Simple. It's a kind of mistake that happens when you're just deep in the juju, and just generally getting things a bit wrong. So happy that that's fixed now. So the undead now resurrect as intended. So yeah, resetting the target list, and found this out by refactoring the code, which was a pain. And if you see my earlier streams, you know I'm a bit annoyed that Unity can't just show me a list of lists by default. You have to make a class, which I've made a class which is literally just a list and a name. I don't even need name here. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. A team is a list of characters, and now we can see that. If you have a list of lists, it doesn't show it. But if you have a list of a class that is basically just a list, it does show it. And it's not really necessary, but what it did is it allowed me to see what the problem was. So I won't change it back. I'll just keep it like that. And then we get to the design idea of the undead. So I'll just spin up a game to show what happened here. So basically, Revive finds a dead unit. So this will be an inactive object, and revives them with an AoE. So it will revive the enemies, the dead characters near them as well. I really like the idea of it actually targeting something that died where it died and reviving it where it died. That just seems correct. It seems to make sense. But for this game, it doesn't quite work. For one thing, it's going to be really difficult to balance like the amount of enemies that are dead on a spot, but also the amount of like different levels are different, and I don't want players to be like, oh, I better stay in the exact same spot to get the most out of my revives, or if I'm fighting against the undead, to move away from the spot where everything died. That's just annoying. That's unintuitive. So we're going to change this. So yeah, so our necromancer character, and when something dies, we can just revive it. And I think, yeah, see the little cyan health bar there? That's a revived undead unit. And they live for about 14 seconds by default until they die. So there's a lot of balancing to think about there. And see, as you can see, we've revived some undead units. So some of the enemy units as well. We can see some of the human helmets there. And yeah, also we've got this issue with the character, the gravestone here says rip backwards, which is just like a little silly oversight. I should have done it a bit differently. And yeah, so reviving is a bit OP. They last for quite a long time. And also, if we get a big stack of dead units, you can just revive quite a lot at a time, which is cool, but it just doesn't work for the gameplay. I don't like how slow everything's moving, but I think that's just because I'm playing it within the editor. So yeah, there we have it. I feel like these graves are spawning quite quickly. I don't know if they've got like a faster spawn rate than others. I'm just going to quickly check that. So if we take a vampire, might just be that I'm not used to the speed of things, but also I think because we're just dominating so much, that it's yeah. So I need to change reviving to something that's actually going to be a lot easier to do. But it is going to make more sense. So when we revive a unit, so again we talked about like it could just be a ghoul, it could just be like revive a generic unit, but I love the idea that it's actually something that died in the game. Because yeah, I just think that's fun. It could be an allied unit, it could be an enemy unit. The question is which one will it be and where will it appear and how many at a time, and that's the question, right? So I need to fundamentally change how that works. Can I just have a quick peek at the profiler? Garbage collector, that's what was eating those frames, but actually because this is mostly clear, that means that was mostly Mostly just an issue of Unity kind of, you know, and other things going on my computer that was slowing things down. So I need to rethink that. And then the other thing is, yeah, looking immediately at graves, and I like this idea that you have a unit that is a grave, and what the grave does is it does a buff. It's important to have a unit that does buffs because of balancing, because every time we add a buff, like there's certain things that can proc from that. So quite a lot to think about here. But I think instead the grave should maybe it can do that, but there's a few things I need to do. So I didn't do like what buff does the grave actually do, right? With the human equivalent is the bannerman, which does armor and damage. So I think the grave should do something similar. And we also need the visual effect for that. There's also little things like some of the undead units have shields. Even though you can't get a shield as the hero, your units can get the shield. So we need to add a shield here. So then we'll make another one and we'll import. We need to copy, and I'm just going to copy it from the human weapons. So weapons, human weapons, and then we find the shield. There we are. And of course it's going to look a bit different, but it's a good starting point. Okay. I need to think about if I add... So I think, weirdly, and this is rather annoying, I've talked about this before, but we have to add things from the top of the list, because otherwise you end up with sprites coming off the bottom. But I also need to think, like, just saving myself effort down the line. So if we look at weapons, black weapons, we open up the sprite editor here. Okay, so that's like there's no empty gap. So I need to add, and let's stick with 7. Very odd number, but that's what we have. So it's just things that, you know, it's just things you learn with experience. So I'm just going to make 7 empty ones. Just so we got a nice clean row at the top. So that if I import new ones, we're going to end up, it's going to end up here. Otherwise we end up with these sprites appearing, like these boxes appearing above the thing, which is not good. So I make a whole new row, and we're going to take our... It should probably be like 4 by, you know, just to keep it in line. 4. So yeah, we'll just copy this for the moment. Okay. This is our undead shield. This is not a weapon that the hero can have, but it's a weapon that the units can have. So to start with, it's just going to be... So we'll just get our metal color that we use for the shield, and we'll do... And then this is going to be different. So actually, straight away, I know that we're not going to need these. Yeah, that kind of works. Sort of white is a bit funky. That should be the same color, I guess. Yeah, I think that seems correct. Yeah, and that's a good starting point. But then, as we develop into the higher tier versions, we should have not this kind of flag-like shape. We should have skulls. So probably the best way to do that, just delete this. that. Fill it in. Get the black. Draw a skull. Nothing too fancy. Gonna have to edit that. Something about buffering. See, I've fixed that so many times. I don't know what the issue is. Okay. And then yeah, that's actually the size of a normal eye, but and then nose. And some teeth. Yes, it's very simple, kind of scrappy. I mean, I like that look. I'm a fan of it. And then we'll take the exact same color of bone here. And oh, like that. It's got a skull on it. And then what would the tier 3 look like? Or this tier 4? What would the level 4 shield look like? Probably we can go ahead and get our white. I think that is just slightly off-white, and give it some eyes. Nothing crazy again, because this isn't a hero weapon. This isn't like a super evolved weapon. Yeah, I think this will do fine. Nothing crazy. So that would be our shield. And then in order to make this weapon, we go to our undead black beans. And we have tier 1, tier 2, and then ally only. And we will copy the shield. We'll just take this. In fact, I'm gonna want to I think I have like copy weapon. Copy? No? Do I not have that here? I thought I would have had do I never copy a weapon? No, I just literally write it again. Okay, that's fine. That's not too bad. It would be nicer to just copy it, so any changes I make to the shield would reflect in the black shield as well, but that's fine. So we go back to shield again. Very big bit of code I have here. It's a bit unwieldy, but we're quite close to the end here. We don't have a whole lot left to do in this game. So I think I can just power through these like bits of sludge that I've created for myself. We can power through these slightly awkward, and yeah, have I got the whole thing? We can just power through. Doesn't need to be perfect. We're not thinking so much about code optimization. So I guess the what do I mean by optimization? Not game optimization, but code optimization, coding optimization, and making it easy for me to code, right? So that when I do have to make something, that it's like an easy process. That's something that is always important, but at this stage, because it's not going to come up very often, this is fine. I do have a copy weapon thing. I just don't think I can use it from here for whatever reason. I don't actually know. I'm not going to question it. I just can see that when I've done this elsewhere, it's like that. Okay, so black. So we now have a new weapon, which is black shield. And then I think I also need to reflect this in upgrades. So then I go to upgrades, and I'll just move this along here. And once I can't... Whoa, what is going on there? Once I have upgrades, here we are, and then ally only. No, where do we have like warg, claw? Okay, here it is. So shield as a weapon. Here we are. So every time I make a weapon, I have to do it in upgrades and in shield. And yeah, God, another moment where it's like I have gathered a lot of experience making this game that will come out in my next project, you know? Making my the way I do things better each time. So we are black beans, tier 1, tier 2, allies only, shield, and we will find, and so I want to get I think it's just strings. So if I do this with the quote and turn it into black shield and just spam a few times, there we are, and there we have it. We have the black shield as a weapon. We're going to need a sprite for that, but that's fine. So, oh yeah, what are we using here? Sprite weapons.blackshield.sprite. So when we look at weapons, so again, it's been a while since and let's put these here because we're going to do more of these because we have to make like the claws for the zombies and things like that. Upgrades and weapons. So weapons. Okay, don't know what's going on with the stream there. Haven't had problems for a while like that. Usually the connection's excellent, but okay, fine. So here we have, yeah, we've got this, and I will just copy this down. So long bits of code here. I do apologize for my unwieldy code, but it won't be much longer that we have to actually spend too much time in here. And we have a special section, so we go tier 1, tier 2, and I just want to check how I did it. So yeah, we have allies only. So in but like why is the stream not working properly? Never mind. Do I need to change the settings again? I thought I had the settings down. I like did all of that. Like there hasn't been a problem for ages. Yeah, we got nice green bars. Something about frame rate. Well, something. Okay, I have to put a note then to fix the frame rate. Well, don't want to be going on about the stream itself. So yeah, we have tier 1, tier 2, and then we have header, allies only. Okay, and we don't need the sound, and we don't need the effect. We just need the sprites. So then when we go down here, what's the issue? Black mega shield, yeah. Mega black shield, mega is vestigial. It's just not really worth my time to change it at this point. I guess this is telling me otherwise, but yeah, the sound and the effect is the same. That's a normal shield, but we have different sprite. Okay. And I need to export this, and it will be 7 columns. And let's see how that does with the sprites. Oof. I think my computer needs a reset. I haven't been resetting it at night lately. Okay, so weapons, black weapons. And then here we have our sprite editor. Should see, the thing is, if I add it at the bottom, it doesn't quite do it correctly. Like it adds space at the top. But this way I can actually just... Oof, things are going slow today. Oh, because I'm in play mode? No, get out of play mode. The computer is getting old like me. I'm going to turn 40 soon. Now we have those, and then it's a simple matter of going into scenes. So yeah, it's quite unwieldy, unfortunately. It kind of works well when I add a whole bunch of weapons in a stack, but yeah, I mean, we live and we learn, don't we? It's not really worth refactoring at this point because it has no material difference in game. It's just, this is how I've done it, and so this is how I'll keep doing it. If I were to refactor it, I'd have to make quite a lot of considerations. Okay. There must be some error. No, there's no error. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, let me go sprites, weapons. We'll do this one. And simple as that. Now we have our black shield, which is a shield that is just used for the undead allies. And then so when we go into characters, and now I just need to equip it, so we have the Graveguard has this. And at the moment they just have shield, and I need to change that to black shield. Like this. And there's going to be a few other instances. Who else has a shield? I think the Edgelord has a shield. Okay, there we are. And who else has a shield? The Revenant. Shield and bow. Again, it's just these funny balancing things that I wonder how this will play out. Like, is this really a useful character to have a shield and a bow? I think it could be. I'm just trying to kind of have a lot of variety here. And Shadow Knight, I think, also has a shield. Maybe they should have a scythe and a shield. Oh, yeah, they do. So, yeah. I obviously had that same thought while I was doing this. Yeah, keep changes. I obviously had that same thought before. Yeah, see, shield and a scythe. There we are. Okay, tomb. So the tomb... so we want something like... So yeah, I'm not going to worry about the tomb just yet. We've got this Staff of Command, which the Grave will have. The Grave will do buffs. I think that's fine. I did say that they should perhaps spawn an enemy instead, but I think the buffs are good, and it does kind of keep us locked into a specific spot. I mean, yeah, I think the... Because I think reviving is a fun mechanic. I think the tomb Again, this all just comes down to like fine-tune balancing, but I just want something that works for now. Yeah, Staff of Command and Staff of Resurrection. So it's like basically doing what the Grave was doing, but also reviving units. Okay. So yeah, it's going to have these like 2 staff sticking out of it. It's going to be a bit funky, but that's fine. I just want to get like this down, and then we can start refining and, you know. Okay, so we've got this Ghoul Claw and Zombie Claw weapons, which should work just like the Warg weapons. And it's basically a dagger, but it looks different. So we go Warg Claw. And we are going very much the same stats here. And I think I can actually, and then we're going to go to Black Bean Ally Only, and we're going to have Undead Claw, because I guess the Warg, I don't know if I need to make one specifically for the zombies and the yeah, so Warg Claw. I don't know if I need a different one for the zombies and for the ghouls. They can share a claw. I think that's fine. So we go down to Black Bean, Lantern, and then Allies Only. Undead Claw. Maybe Black Claw is better, just to stay on theme. The effect is the same, the sound is the same. And so yeah, we go down here to what we've been doing that, and we're going to call this Black Claw. And I'm just going to do this somewhat manually, just so I can, because it's just the sprite that's going to be different. It's just going to be a different color. Yeah, and I'm thinking what I'm going to do is damage equals, see, yeah, I'd have to get, so like get weapon Warg Claw dot damage. I'd have to do it like that, just so if I edit one, I edit all of them, because I think that works. Yeah. And then these all need to be 2. Like that. And then same over here with 3. I'll just paste that over here, so we go 4, 4, 4, 3, like that. Okay. And then what I need to do is draw that. So I will, I guess I can save that. Browse physical files, look at the green weapons, and we find our Warg Claw. There it is. And yeah, these are all the same. I mean, actually, I can probably do a bit of shading here. I'll do it for the undead ones. Because, yeah, I am going to, like, overhaul all of these at some point. So. Okay. I am going to go ahead. I'm going to let this... Just thinking about doing this in a better way. Yeah, how can I do this in a better way? Because it should be 8 by 8, because then it's easier. So yeah, we would do 8 by 8. And so let's do like that. And we're going to have to like reshuffle these basically. And we want our zombie color. So we'll go back here and we'll open up our undead. Just characters. I mean, we just want some kind of ghoulish green. Do we have that color? Okay, so I'll just copy it. So 163.206.121. Well, actually, I think it's easier if I just copy this into here, grab that, and then like that. Little bit cheeky. And I will actually shade it this time. So yeah, let's do a bit of shading. Like I said, I know this is a bit slapdash, but I am going to, like, I do intend to kind of go through and redo like pretty much all of these. It's just I need it. I want it to look good enough for me to be kind of just be getting on with. There we are. And that's just going to be the same each time. Okay, so have some fiddly work to do here. So we go black weapons, yeah. And this is so fiddly. There's so much like weird stuff here, but like I said, I'm just doing it so quickly, just so I've got the placeholder at least, so that when it does come time to try and do all of these a bit better, it's like I only have to focus on drawing and then uploading the sprites, but I don't have to do all the clicking and dragging and then seeing it in the scene. It's just there, you know. It just needs to be visually distinct enough for me to see it and to feel it a little bit. But yeah, I would like to improve things generally. I think it's worth it. I think this is a good game. It's worth my time. So, where was I? So we go over to... Yeah, we want to get our... So what weapons does he have? He's got a sword and a hammer. That's good. Banshee... Yeah, but it's just the ghoul. And we're going to give him undead claw. Whoa. Yeah, my computer definitely needs a restart. And my brain needs a restart probably too. Undead Claw 2. Like that. Nothing fancy. Just getting the point across. Might have to do a slightly different one for zombies and undead, but I just kind of grabbing things as I see them and improving them. Okay. Oish. And yeah, just all of this just helps me realize how I could set up this entire project better next time. But you know, I've seen worse, to be honest. So I'm not going to feel too bad. That was one thing, like working in the industry and seeing a bunch of how different other games are made, and it's like actually it's while mine leaves a lot to be desired, it's actually not too bad. Okay. And then we need to go into GM, weapons, navigate nice and easily down to black. Oh, so yeah, we need to go into sprites, weapons, and here this is all going to be all jumbled up now. Keep. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Yeah, 8x8 is good. Sorry, yeah, eight columns is good. But we need to intelligently now. And sadly, I can't. I think I can. Can I grab a few of these and then just basically they all need to be. Like, this is a bit bloody tedious. But had I done it properly, this wouldn't have been a problem. And now I've just got more incentive to do it properly next time. There we are. I could just, like, it's quite easy to just slice it up. Like, you can kind of automate that, but then I would have to do the clicking and dragging again, and I'm just picking my poison, basically. I think certainly doing this kind of thing on stream, can definitely recommend it, because it makes you embarrassed to see your own kind of like inefficiencies and mistakes. And I think it's good motivation to just kind of generally do things better in future, more so than doing it on my own. Because if I do it on my own, it's like, okay, yeah, no one can see this. No one has to know how stupid I was when I was setting up this project, or you know. Yeah, no one has to see that. But because I'm streaming, it's like, oh, actually, yeah, this is like being caught with my flies down a little bit. And it gives me more incentive to do it better next time. Like I said, I've been in the industry, and I know that actually industry standard doesn't tend to be a lot better than this most of the time, which is why you see so many unoptimized and unwieldy AAA games. But yeah, it's not too bad. It's just... What have we lost? Like an hour here down to poor organization. It's not too bad, and we're improving it now. We're fixing it. We're making it better piece by piece. This is very tedious. This is not... There are other ways to do it. Like I said, I'm just picking my poison. Rather than clicking and dragging them all again, I would rather just deal with it in here and do this slightly awkward job. I could give feedback on how to make Unity's sprite editor a bit nicer. For example, if we make our thing bigger, can we just add it to the bottom rather than to the top? Oh god, I think I must have gotten something wrong here. Yeah, I think I did it wrong. Okay, never mind. So what this is 4, 5, yeah, okay. I'm just going to reslice it and re-drag them. So before I do that, I am actually going to put things in their proper place. Woe is me. Right, what's the easiest way? Because yeah, I guess I just click and drag these. I can't click and drag multiple of them. It's fully full screen this, and just take it down. I have to like wiggle it to make it go faster. I don't know if there's a better way than this, but oh come on! Where did it go then? Almost like easier just to actually... Okay. This is so tedious. There must be a better way. Just to take one of these sprites and put it at the bottom. Like if I actually just take this, let's try this, and take this. Make a new sprite at the bottom, paste it in. Hello, can I grab that please? Delete this one. I swear my computer today it's acting up a little bit. Make a new one, paste that in, back to the top, grab this one. Paste it in. And then delete these and just get one of these. Delete all of these. There we are. Okay. Hello? Okay, let's export that. And yeah, it's 8 by 8, 8 by whatever, 8 by 8 at the moment, but 8 columns. And then when we go in here, yeah. And actually I'm just what I'm gonna do, so grid by cell size, and it's 96 by 96. The pivot is dead center, I think. Yep, it's dead center. And we delete existing and we slice and then we apply. And let's see, my hope is that we've kept our existing references. It looks like we have. So there's sword, impaler. I'll just check each of them. Scythe, Chris, bow, reviver, command. Yeah, that's all good. Okay, lovely. So we did good stuff there. And of course, yeah, these claws are a bit boring, but I just want to get something in the slot that looks vaguely like the thing it's supposed to be, and then fairly soon we can do like larger, more detailed sprites, or just kind of generally better, less scrappy. And so that's that, and then we want to go into, and yeah, we've given them those, right. Ghoul claw weapon, grave should spawn ghouls. No, what I need to do is this, wait, did I, yeah, need to, yeah, Staff of Command. So we have this buff called Staff of Command, which is our sort of go-to undead buff. Like, it's funny because materially it doesn't make much difference. Like, buffs is kind of like there's not that many buffs in the game. So a buff is just a buff. Like it's not going to be like, oh, which buff should I pick? I mean, it could be like that, but it's not, because we don't want to have too many buffs, right? You could say, oh, here's a buff that does crit, but And then that would synergize with a crit build. But that's kind of doesn't really work for this game. So a buff is just a buff, but you know we can sort of give it some thematic flavor. So we go into our buffs. So that is in character, and we go add, and we go staff. Do we not have staff of command? Add buff. And so here's again my very unwieldy. We find here, and so okay, so we do have a buff called Staff of Command, which I actually, so again, just little things that I just like totally just forgot basically. So Staff of Command, that does not exist here. So we need to make a buff called Staff of Command, right? We can just take any old buff and Staff of Command, what does it do? So we have our value, we have our time. I just need to say what stat does it improve. I think AoE makes sense for undead. And just comparing it to, so we have drum, which is AoE, attack speed and speed. And we have banner, which is armor and damage. So we'll do AoE. I just had a crazy idea that it could refresh undead debuff, but let's worry about that later. So let's do AoE and attack speed. I feel like that's quite ghoulish. And then could it refresh the undead debuff? Oof. So how would that work? It would be like, so we add this stat and then we say like, just, I mean, we don't need to. I'm not necessarily going to do this. Where is undead debuff? Okay, it's up there. I just didn't see it. Okay. So it'd be like if buffs dot can't be contained dot first or default I draw a willy I dot names is staff undead debuff okay, it needs to be like this. So I've forgotten how to code. Equals undead name equals is equal to undead debuff. What's wrong with that? Oh, is not equal to null. Then that dot time plus equals 4, let's say. So this, what this would do is whenever we add this buff, we're extending the time, the timer of the undead. I think that's cool. Have I written that down? So start. What did I say that it does? Command empowers nearby allies. Yeah. See, that doesn't tell me very much. What do we have for banner? Does it actually just tell you what the banner does? Banner, please. Inspires allies. Oh, so we don't actually say what it does. Is that really right? Boosts allies' attack speed. Okay, so yeah, I think I need to rewrite these. I'll make a note of that, because I think I should tell you exactly what the buffs do. Rewrite buff weapon. And allied. I think I do with Bannerman. Buffs allies with armor and damage. Yeah, drummer. Movement and attack speed. Yeah, so yeah, we've got so this is like the green bean one, movement and attack speed. Humans is armor and damage. Undead will be AoE and attack speed, but also, and since this is a weapon that the actual character can have, because the banner and the drum, the player can't have those, which is why the description's not great, but it does still need to be there for the encyclopedia. So, yeah, do we like this idea that what it does is it extends the lifespan of your revived units? I think that's cool. I think that's like you're making a build and you've got reviving in your build, and you say, oh yeah, I'm doing like a focused resurrection build. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure so staff and command and staff and resurrection synergize with each other. Yeah, I think that's cool. We can always change it later. I just want to have like interesting stuff, and it needs to be a buff. That means that the tomb is reviving units and extending their lifespan, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, yeah, let's do that. And then because this is quite a common buff, in fact all buffs kind of need this, not all of them, but as we can see, so let's do this. So whenever we make a buff like this, we have it on add buff to give it its effects, and we have it on remove buff to remove the effects. Yeah, that shouldn't have been times equal. It should be plus equal because it's already a multiplier. So we go back up. Yeah, plus equals. I don't know why I wrote times equals. Okay, and because that already is a multiplier, so and so back down here again. And we can delete this because that's not going to apply. And there it is. Then we also need this visual effect. So we do one of these. Ah, this is wrong. We remove the buff. And we're going to say staff of command. And I already have an idea of what this is going to look like. We get rid of this place, thank you. Yeah, we want this, so active, true. Okay. And then we go into our sprite render, and it's just a very simple thing that I do where so then on each character, and this is probably something that could be optimized as well, just to have fewer objects in the scene, even if they're switched off. Although, from what I gather, having a switched off object in the scene doesn't actually cause too many issues. In fact, I think this probably is the most optimized way of doing it. So in the character, under buffs, so we have status effects. And so, for example, if they've been inspired by some wicked tunes, they get that. If they've been inspired by the anvil, they get that. If they've been bannermaned, they get the good old blue. And these are kind of like sized and scaled so that you can always see all of them. And no. And oh yeah, we want to be in here. I didn't make any changes. So yeah. So we want something like this. And it will be start, and then we name it that. It has to be the exact right name. And I want to make sure that this is okay. And then this color would be like our undead color, which is, where is our undead color? It's going to be in the weapons. Our trademark, this color. So can I from Unity grab a color from a different window? I hope I can. I can. Lovely. Right, there it is. What are the chances? So there is a problem that could happen here. Is they could have banner and they could have this and drum on at the same time. Which would mean that you wouldn't be able to see it. So one good way to do this is to actually just switch all of them on. And then try and make it appear. It seems a bit, yeah, I guess because we've got I guess that can happen. Yeah, that's more like it. So this is what it would look like if they had all debuffs on, or all buffs and debuffs at the same time, which is a bit mad, obviously. Like that's just never really going to happen. But we say, so if we like, so there it is, and so that would be with Anvil. Is that right? Where's Anvil? Yeah, that's appearing. So I think Staff of Command, Anvil should sit like above that. Yeah, so because this is like a core buff, banner, drum, Staff of Command. So Anvil is 1.03. So let's make this 1.03. And then Anvil.
What?
What's up, Cyrus?
He doesn't have a face.
He doesn't have a phase. No,
Why?
he's got too many buffs and debuffs at the same time.
Why?
Because I'm showing what it looks like if they have all the buffs and debuffs at the same time. So if they've got just Staff
I
of
want to
Command on.
watch the video down with him.
No, thank you, Cyrus. I have to work.
I don't want to watch more of that video.
Okay, do you need potty? You're doing the potty dance.
No.
No?
No. I'm just doing some exercise.
You're just doing some exercise. Very good.
And then I what these now?
Star jumps?
No.
Cross jumps? What do you call them?
Press jump.
Press jumps.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want you to change the video.
You want me to change the video?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, I'll be right back.
Chew.
Downstairs water?
Yeah.
set the boy up with another little video. It's sad. I hate that he has to watch stuff to entertain himself, but my wife needs to sleep and I need to work, and my younger son needs to sleep too. Okay, how are we doing? So yeah, that's going to work for now. We'll see if it messes up in the scene. So we have Staff of Command, and Staff of Command does something, and it has a visual effect, and so we can see what's happening in the game. Grave should not spawn ghouls. Banshee debuff. Okay. So what did we give the Banshee for now? Ah, we've given it a shield. So yeah, that's probably because I knew that I had to give it a debuff. Okay, so now we want to make a debuff for Banshee Scream. We need to make a weapon. Because even if it's like not visually a weapon, it still needs to be classed as a weapon in order for us to sort of see it in the game, or in order for it to actually do anything, right? So let's start. Oh, and did I make? Okay, yeah, I didn't do this, so that would have thrown up an error. So we go black shield, and we're gonna make another one called, yeah, undead claw. And then what did we call? Claw of a warg, sharper warg claw, deadly warg claw, the ultimate claw of a mighty warg. So we'll say an undead claw, sharper undead claw. Yeah, a nasty sharp claw. Because no one's going to read this. It's not going to come up. And disgusting manky old undead claw. Just like in case anyone reads it, they'll be like, what? I don't know. Yeah, it's fine. It's just, it's a claw. The only way you would see that is by going deep into the encyclopedia. But by then you kind of know what it is. We are going to spend time on this game. We're going to make it good. At the moment it is just very kind of indie scrappy, but I want to kind of make that, and then before releasing it, kind of go, okay, let's take a little break, take like a month off, and then come back to it and have a look and go, okay, what does this game need? And when I say a month off, I'll probably go and work a bit on, I'll work on Interrogation Simulator or something like that. Like I'll do a bit of work on some of my other ongoing projects. Not going to start any new projects, but I think it's probably fair to go to older started projects and kind of continue with them a bit, and then come back to this and just have a much clearer idea of what the game needs. Okay. Oh, I left this on. Okay. And so the Banshee. So let's start. We start with weapons and we go up to the undead allies only, and luckily I can see the green bits from where I've recently edited, and we're going to call this, oh, I've called it Black Claw. That's not really accurate, is it? I should call it Undead Claw. All over the place. That's the funky thing. That's what kind of... Yeah, and then that's going to throw up errors. It should throw up errors. And these are using... oh, okay, yeah, because I had copied and pasted it. That's why. So no, we want... I'll just go ahead and do this now. Hopping around all over the place. Banshee... Banshee Cry. And it's actually not going to have a sprite, but I will just put something there. Because, yeah, the Banshee's going to be a debuffing unit. And it's going to be a very powerful debuffing unit. Because it's an upgraded unit. So, yeah, and it's like if you're doing a debuff build, the Banshee's going to be insanely good. While the Banshee Cry itself isn't going to do damage like a Frostbolt or a Fireball, it is going to... Yeah, it is going to do stuff. So, yeah, that's good. Okay, so Banshee Cry. Just copy that. And then we're going to get our errors, but that's nice. That will take me down to the page that I want. And I'm going to call this Undead Claw, which means I'm going to have to reconnect them in Unity, but I think that's fair, because black is like, yeah, that's the name of the faction, but really it's an Undead Claw. I think it's a bit nicer. Okay, and so we have our sprites laid out, even though those are going to be empty sprites or null. I'm just leaving it blank. And then we have, yeah, so Black Claw, Banshee. Is it Banshee Cry? Can't even remember what I was doing 5 seconds ago. Banshee Cry. Okay, and so this is a weapon. I'm going to copy... I'm going to copy Banner over into Banshee Cry, because it's just to get some of the basics. So we're gonna... Oh, what did I do there? Black Claw, no. Okay, yeah, right. Did I copy the... Yeah, okay. Bear with me. I'm still learning. Right. Banner becomes Banshee Cry. And of course we're going to get some errors there. I know there's a better way of doing this, but like I said, just bear with me. Just getting like placeholders in. Just getting something in all of these slots. Kind of got my producer hat on. Yeah, okay, so we don't have these. But we will maybe at some point. So let's go back up. And we're going to have... Yeah, it's all going to make sense. Like it's a big wide debuff. Okay, and we'll probably have a little sound effect. I mean, it's going to be mad with like too many banshees screaming at once, but yeah, just a little noise for the Banshee Cry. I do have on my list of like do a catch-up round of sound effects, which is like, yeah, it's just different kind of hat that I have to put on. Okay, so we have our Banshee debuff. And yeah, Banshee Cry. And Yep, that's in. So then we do the same in upgrades. And in this case, it's quite easy just to take any other one and change that to, yeah. And then we want to say a big debuff. Debuffs attack, speed, and armor. Yeah, I think that works. We should capitalize those. Stronger Banshee Cry. Any fun references I can put here, like yeah, a chilling whale. Pure yeah, like cry that surpasses can be heard through the veil of death. I don't know. A cry that can be heard will go from the underworld. Just something for now, because I'm still like in the design phase basically of this game. Okay, so then that's the name, that's the upgrade, it exists. We don't need a sprite for it. So then the next thing, oh, so yeah, the thing we need to change is it's not friendly. So it's a buff that's not friendly. I don't even know how that, if that's going to work right, but yeah, in theory that should just mean that it just hits the enemy and not the player, not the allies. So it's not friendly, it will target enemies, it's all the same shit, but it's called Banshee Cry. And then we go in and it does no damage. We'll need to be near an enemy. Yeah, I think 3 range of 3 is fine. Maybe let's just boost that to 5. And let's then go into the character. And what does it actually do? So we'll have a visual effect. Archibald's Wrath is just like a sort of temporary one. I could probably have a visual effect for that, but it would be quite different. But let's call this, yeah, Banshee. Right. So yeah, armor. And I guess so I can either have a positive number here and a negative number at the other end, but no, I think just for the sake, I think just to stick with how I've been doing it elsewhere, I'm going to do a negative number here and a positive number at the other end. So we have armor plus equals buff dot value, and it will add a negative value rather than subtracting a positive value. Same result, just want to keep consistent. Armor and move speed, speed X. Lovely, very clear naming conventions here. Armor, speed X, and let's Let's do damage as well. Let's make it the reverse of the banner, basically. There, we grab that. And we look at when we remove the buff. And we just change all these numbers to negative. There might be a better way of doing buffs, but this is what I could figure out. And then we set this to false. And then what should the Banshee Cry look like? I think it should look like... It should just have like a sprite of the Banshee. Like, it's nothing crazy. Not too inspired, but, you know, it just needs to be a visual effect to show what it is. I mean, like, pie in the sky, like, what would be the absolute best thing here? Would be that the character actually gets a scared facial expression and sort of has the sort of hair standing on end. But I think just kind of having the... Like, I could have a more robust buff system where, like, basically, if there's a few of them, then they kind of just appear on top of each other. I guess I'm thinking of... The thing is, like, it doesn't need to be there so, like, players can examine all of them. So, like, for example, Mugenics usually just shows 3 and then has a ... And if you hover over the unit, you can see all of them. But this is not... Because this is a fast kinetic game, you're not actually going to be able to see over all of them. Here comes the boy again. The stomach store is massive?
Yeah.
Is that so?
The stomach store is... The stomach's jaw is massive.
The stomach's jaw is massive. I don't know what you mean. Okay, so we'll call this Banshee Cry. And I want this to look like the Banshee, so black beans somewhere in here. Yeah, like just kind of the Banshee appearing above their head, or maybe even like, let's see, what can we do with this? What if it's like there, but this is bigger, and it's just like they all get the Banshee's hair? Like that. But I don't think that's really good enough. No, let's go back to where we were. I think just having that works well. It could interfere with marked. The thing is, marked isn't a thing anymore. I got rid of marked as a concept. So yeah, just having like the Banshee's head above them, I think that works well. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do fine. Again, like what I'm trying to do here is get everything in place so I can start testing and playing it. Because like I said, marked is going to interfere with this one, but marked doesn't exist anymore. So I want to just be absolutely sure which are all the ones that exist, and then make it that all of them work together. But if I make it work with marked and then marked gets cut from the game, that's just kind of inefficient, I think. So yeah, okay. So we have Banshee Cry. That's there, and I think that's fine. It's just a Banshee appears above their head, like they're being scared. Banshee debuff, done. Let's go and catch up with GM here. And yeah, we need our... If I take this, Actually, no, I think it's easier just to actually grab them. Sprites, weapons, black weapons, undead claw. I know these are all the same, but again, like, they will probably change eventually. And then we've got Banshee Cry. Doesn't have a sprite. Doesn't have an effect. Does Banner have an effect? It shouldn't. Yeah, it shouldn't have an effect. Because then we're just creating a like banner effect. Because we got rid of this whole AoE effect nonsense. Yeah, just literally does nothing. Maybe plays a noise but doesn't actually do anything. So that's probably just unnecessary there. Should I... yeah, get rid of... Yeah, I think I should do that. Because if there isn't actually a visual effect, but maybe it will have a visual effect eventually. Just like a very... The thing is that's going to get visually noisy, but just like a very subtle, like, little spark or something. Yeah, so I'll leave it on for now. But if I don't have anything, then it doesn't make sense to be spawning in sort of invisible object, because, you know, there's just no need. Okay. Flesh Golem Claw. Flesh Golem? No, I like the Flesh Golem having two different weapons. Just having a sword and a hammer, that's fine. Tomb should have command and debuff. Yeah, well, Tomb has command and revive. I think that works. Staff of command. Yeah, I did that. Revived enemy units not yeah, I fixed that. Undead pooling. Yeah, okay, I need to look at that. That might be... Okay, I'm gonna look at that later, because I think that might have already been fixed. Revived units, yeah, fixed that. Okay, yeah, and on the grave, I think because the grave never moves, that's not... I don't need to think about the reversed version. Because they never move, they're never changing their position. But then... they are turning to the left. So, where do we do that? So, facing left. Come on, where's facing left? That's in GM, I think. Okay, and then we do if character dot move. Is there can move? I think that's a different thing. So the grave.
What did you change the video?
Okay.
Come here. Come here. Dodge. I want you to dodge.
Dodge, punch, zip.
I want you to swing.
To swing?
Yeah.
Who could you possibly be thinking of?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Yeah. Booty badgy.
He can swing on the houses.
Yeah, he can. Okay.
And
yeah, so that's probably
he can
fine.
swing on rockets too.
And then yeah, fixing resurrection. Okay, so yeah, I've caught up on this. This is still a silly bug. Test and fix undead faction. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so fix reviving. Okay. All right. Yeah, this all works. So before I get into testing.
What, Daddy?
I'm just finishing my thought because I'm at near the end of a thought. Do you need potty, Cyrus? Okay. So fix the reviving. So yeah, basically that's all done. That's all in. That should work. Might be some errors, but I'll see them when I press play. And the next step is to fix the reviving. So it's not this AoE effect that targets nearby dead units. It will just take a dead unit at random and spawn it. So I'm going to take a little break and then I'll come back and start doing that. It's still early in the day. All right. Okay, yeah, come in. Yeah, I'm actually going to end the stream there and then start a new one, which will be titled appropriately. So, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching the stream if you did. And yeah, have a good one. See you soon. See you shortly. Bye.